Kochie's Business Builders is proudly brought to you by our partner Microsoft, helping small businesses grow.
Coming up on Kochie's Business Builders, Thankyou's Dan Flynn with tips to avoid burnout. The telltale signs of when you need to upgrade your server and your EFTPOS. Plus, we visit Michael and Lois at MB Solar to help with succession planning. G'day and thanks for joining me for another episode of Kochie's Business Builders as we take a look at the issues facing small business owners and come up with practical advice and tips to help them succeed. Joining me today as co-host is Samantha Dybac, founder and CEO of the PR Hub and host of the popular podcast series Influence Unlocked. Sam loves nothing better than helping businesses and brands to succeed and is great when it comes to developing communication strategies that stimulate growth. So, Sam, welcome. Good to see you. Look, how do you help businesses and brands develop their authentic voice?
When you're trying to build awareness, trust, credibility, you have to be authentic. And when we're working with businesses, and often that's the founders of businesses, there's three key questions that I would ask. So the first one is, how do you define your industry and what problem are you trying to solve? Because you need to understand that in order to then get to who your target audience is and what are the messages then that you'll put out to them. Question number two is then, what is your passion? Like in your industry, what do you feel passionate about and where is your experience? And that leads me to question number three. I always then say, well, what do you want to be known for? In 6 to 12 months' time, what do you want people saying about your brand or your business?
They're three great questions. Sam, speaking of helping businesses to grow, we're headed back to see how Michael and Lois Valentine of MB Solar are putting KBB expert Matt Alderton's advice to good use. Last visit, Matt suggested Michael and Lois get their team involved in updating MB Solar's values. Aligning values and purpose is so important for any business. So, Sam, how can we make sure everyone in our business is on the same page?
It's interesting to hear that because we did the same thing in our business at the end of last year. And it was, so much has happened in the past 2 years that it wasn't about senior management saying, hey, these are our new values. It's actually about bringing your people on the journey. And so that means, getting them involved in setting the vision, setting the strategy and setting targets for the year ahead. And if you bring them into that discussion, they're more likely to be on the same page too.
Great insight, Sam. Well, Matt is back at MB Solar's Inner Circle to find out more about how this family business operates and uncovers how Michael's passion for rally car racing fuels his drive to scale the business. Michael Valentine's main passion is rally car racing. He's won numerous competitions and awards and says motorsport is very similar to his other passion, running a business.
It's all about the adventure. Doing rallying to me is an adventure. A lot of people think it's just motorsport, but it's not. You're out in the unknown, you're working with your mate, or these days with my son or my daughter, in the car with me, and we're working our way through the forest and going there as quick as you can and trying to deal with things that come up. To me, that's similar to business because you've got to deal with things every day.
Yeah.
Every day's a new challenge.
Yeah.
MB Solar services not only their local community, but also their neighbouring suburbs as well. To get a better idea of how MB Solar operates on a day-to-day basis, Lois Valentine shows Matt some of these installations, one of which their son Tim is currently working on.
Matt,
See you again.
great to see you.
Great to be
This is
here.
my son Tim.
Hey Tim, Matt, how are you?
I'm all right.
Tim's
How are
in
you?
charge of the install team and
Fantastic.
he's here just doing an upgrade.
This is a system we originally installed about 10 years ago. We just did panels. Now we're doing a battery upgrade. So
Awesome.
the customer can charge the battery during the day and use it at night time.
Do you find you got a lot of that with
Yeah.
you've done installs and now you're coming back to re-engage?
Yeah,
again?
well, that's most of our business is repeat customers or customers telling their friends and neighbours. People want to have self-sufficiency. If the grid goes out, they want to have backup power.
Yeah. So it was great today to spend some time out with Tim and meet Tim and see what you guys do out in the field. That was awesome. And I know you've been doing a lot of work in the last little while since we first met on how it all comes together in terms of your vision and your values, and I'm very excited about learning more about that soon. But I'd like to now look at the next step, and that's really about the people, and it's about the people for the future, not the people you've got now. So think about where your business is now in terms of the structure, and then take yourself out of it, because this is where you guys want to step away from the actual operational elements of the business, spend more time driving rally cars and doing all that fun stuff, right? Yeah. But also working on the business strategically, because the vision for your business, where you see it going, it's not going to be able to be achieved if you've got your hands on the tools. So the next steps are to think about those key people now and in the future that you can start to bring into the fold and train up maybe, or invest in over the next coming period of time to help you achieve that vision.
All right, that sounds great.
After the break, we speak to Josh McNichol, the Director of Growth at payments provider Zeller, about how bricks and mortar businesses can generate more sales through a simple EFTPOS upgrade. Is your business doing things differently? Do you know a fantastic Aussie product or service that deserves a moment in the spotlight? Kochie's Business Builders is searching for Australia's most innovative businesses for our second annual Innovators competition, supported by Peugeot and their professional range of vans. The winner receives a grand prize of $1,000 and a segment here on our show. So nominate a business today at kochiesbusinessbuilders.com.au/innovators. Now, Australia is one of the fastest adopters of new payment services. We're supposedly going to be cashless by 2025. That's according to the annual Global Payments Report. Small businesses have been at the forefront of this shift, finding easier ways to manage cash flow and accept payments in the digital age. Fintechs, that's financial technology companies, are offering all kinds of digital-first alternatives to the big four banks to improve issues like fees, access and connectivity. One of those is Aussie payments company Zeller. 80% of their customers have left the big banks. Josh McNichol, Director of Growth at Zeller, is here. So Josh, with your clients, what are you seeing as some of the big factors of small businesses moving away from the traditional big banks?
Firstly, I think that the pandemic has really allowed business owners to reflect on the tools and the technology that they're using to accept payments. So they've had 2 years of lockdowns, trading restrictions, and now they can sit back and go, okay, who's helping me to save money, who's accelerating my cash flow, and how am I going to get that money into my bank account faster? And secondly, and I think you maybe mentioned it earlier, is Australia is one of the most innovative places in the world for new payment adoption. We were one of the first markets to adopt NFC, EMV, so chip cards, Apple Pay penetration rates are higher than ever. So we're actually a market that's really open and willing to take advantage of new payment technology, which makes it a breeding ground for fintech innovation amongst small business owners.
Okay, so what should business owners be looking for when thinking about shifting sort of EFTPOS or payment providers?
There's a few key questions you'd want to be asking yourself as a business owner. Firstly, what do the outage rates look like? EFTPOS outages, payment outages cost business owners tens of thousands of dollars a year. The second thing that's driving this shift and that you want to be looking for as a business owner is pricing and simplicity of pricing. There's so much discussion around payment pricing, the best model for it, and we're finding that the fintech providers which are driving the greatest adoption have simple flat rate pricing rather than confusing merchant services fees, lock-in contracts, monthly terminal rental fees that you're paying regardless of not whether your business is actually transacting.
And a company like Zeller offers such great alternatives, but as a business itself, you've got size now, don't you? You only launched, a year or two ago, valued at $1 billion, 11,000 customers. You're signing up, 50 a day?
Correct, yeah.
At the moment. That gives business owners comfort that you deliver, doesn't it?
It does. Whenever you start a new company, a new business, be it micro, small, or a larger fintech company, you want to build trust with your companies quickly. And the way we deliver that is through no contracts. We're not locking you into anything, clear and affordable pricing, great locally based customer service. But I think the thing that our customers tell us all the time, and I just spoke to a sort of a boutique wine cellar owner in Surrey Hills in Sydney earlier today, is that we're growing with his business. In the past year since we launched, we've launched hundreds of feature enhancements, things like over-the-phone payment processing, branded digital receipts, contact directory, so you can store customer details and receipts. When you're thinking about digitizing your business, I think some business owners, some merchants can find it a little bit overwhelming. But I think the really critical thing is that a lot of newer fintech providers like your Zellers are out there and they're simplifying it. They are making it really easy to get up and running. It takes on average 5.5 minutes for someone to sign up online. By making it simpler, it means it's easier for businesses to digitize their payment offering. What that means down the road is connecting that to your point of sale, to your e-commerce website, and making that as simple as a click of a button versus anything that can feel too overwhelming.
Yep, it's a whole new world. Josh, good to see you.
You too, thanks.
After the break, Daniel Flynn shares his lessons on how to ease away from potential burnout and find balance in the workplace.
Hey, my name's Daniel Flynn, and I'm one of the co-founders of Thankyou. I want to talk to you about burnout. My co-founder Justine and I, we found ourselves at the end of our rope. In part, Thankyou was succeeding, but we were also failing. There's some stuff we were really good at and some stuff that was burning not just us as leaders out, but the entire organization. We took this time to ask some deep, hard questions. Questions like, what's the bit that only we can do? It was a humbling moment. We discovered, actually, there's a secret sauce to Thankyou, and there's a lot of other things we do too that actually maybe others can do better. So we found a way to partner with different organizations instead of insourcing, outsourcing, and highly integrating partners to achieve the same mission, but not all on our own, together. Now, Thankyou is poised to reach its vision of multiple products in multiple countries and the mission to end extreme poverty even closer, but it took an inside-out journey to get there.
Welcome back to Kochie's Business Builders. Sunrise Tech correspondent and tech business owner Val Quinn takes us through the telltale signs your business has reached the point of needing a server.
As your business grows, so should your technology. Here are 3 signs that your business is ready for an on-premises server. Number 1, you want to save time, not waste it. So if you have 2 or more computers in your office to share files, internet access, or connect to external devices, a small business server can take the load off individual computers. Servers act as a central point for secure file storage, printing, communication, and running applications. Having a server helps reduce the time it takes for staff to do things like software updates, new PC installs, and bulk configurations. Number 2, your business needs a single point of truth. A server allows you to set specific rules about your business processes. This includes groups and permissions, so you decide who will be able to access your company's network, files, and applications. It's also a central communication point for your clients and staff. Number 3, you need security anytime, anywhere. By housing on a secure device instead of across all your business's computers, your files and data are protected against unauthorized access, loss, and corruption. And you can access it remotely, and files can be backed up centrally. For more, hop over to the Dell Technologies website for some great tips about choosing a server, including the latest 15G PowerEdge servers for your small business.
Hi, my name's Taryn Williams, and I'm the founder and CEO of The Right Fit, Wink Models, and #Gifted. I decided to launch a talent marketplace, The Right Fit, even though I owned a traditional modelling agency, because I could see the industry was really ripe for disruption. And I knew that if I didn't do it, someone else was going to. So some of the benefits for a brand or an agency for using a marketplace instead of a traditional manager or talent agency is that it's just so much faster and it's so much more efficient. You literally post what you need done, And then you get the competitive tension of a marketplace, so people bidding on doing your work. And you can find all of those things that you might need, so a photographer or a model or a makeup artist or an influencer, all in the one place instead of having to go to those different suppliers. And you get to chat with them directly in the platform, so it really disintermediates the process. I think we've seen a lot of changes, obviously, in the last 12 months, especially with COVID. We've definitely seen this expedited move towards digital content and social media. Obviously, over the last sort of 4 or 5 years, we've seen a big push towards social media influencers, social content, brands needing more content than ever before. They've got so many more channels than they ever had. Their websites, EDMs, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, it never seems to stop. And during the pandemic, brands and agencies really realised that they had a direct relationship with their customers and they could really reach them through these online platforms. And so we saw a lot of brands who maybe had traditionally done TV advertising or out of home, really realising that they had to find new ways to communicate with their customers and new channels to do that. And so we definitely saw brands shifting towards making more digital content and trying to look for ways that they could add value to their customers' lives through doing that. I keep saying no more businesses, but I'm going to be launching a new business soon called #Gifted, which is all about matching influencers and brands in a really fun dating style app. So it's purely for contra collaborations, which are unpaid exchanges, and it allows both parties to really seamlessly and easily match online, agree what they will do in exchange for gifting opportunities, and create high quality, really fun content in a really easy way. If I had to give advice to entrepreneurs just starting out, it would be don't be afraid to put your hand up and ask for support or help and ask for mentorship. Some of the best mentors in my career now have come from a cold LinkedIn outreach or meeting someone at an event and saying, hey, you know what, you're an expert in a particular thing that I don't know so much about, and I would love to pick your brains. Could we have a quick coffee or could we have a meeting? You know, maybe they're an expert in payment gateways and I had never built a payment gateway before. Or maybe they're an expert in PR or branding or social media. So don't be afraid to ask for help. I think especially female founders, we have this idea that if we put our hands up and maybe say we don't know something, that people are going to perceive us to not be enough or to not be worthy. So please try and shake that fear, put your hand up, ask for help, and it can lead to some really rewarding and amazing relationships.
Welcome back to Kochie's Business Builders. Now, let's check back in with Matt Alderton and the team at MV Solar as we dive into the nitty-gritty of succession planning.
I'd like to now look at the next step, and that's really about the people, and it's about the people for the future, not the people you've got now. So have you had some thoughts around what that structure might look like for the future?
Yeah, look, we have. It's one of those things that's always been difficult getting staff in the area that we're currently located. We're looking to try and increase our locations because we feel it's a larger population centre to start with. It'll be easier to get more staff with a variety of skills. The staff that we've got here, our long-term staff, some of them have families that want to get involved in the business. Our own son is involved in the business and manager of the installation teams. We've also got a younger daughter that's also part of our business. Lois is probably a little bit more au fait about what we need in the admin area.
Somebody to look after the day-to-day, like an operations manager, I guess.
So that's really great. So it's important to understand what your shortages are now, because if you don't have the support and resources around you now, it's going to be hard for you to step away from the business to move forward into the future. And once you've got that vision of the future for your business, you then need to have an idea of what that looks like from a team structure as well. Draw yourself an org chart. What does my organisation need to look like to be able to achieve all this?
Yeah.
And then you can cost that up, and then you go, what does my revenue need to look like to get me there as well? So you can start to put some benchmarks in place to take you there.
Because some people have been with us for such a long time, it's hard for them to change because they're too caught up doing what they've always done.
Yeah. The values will drive that behaviour though, that change. So once they've worked with you and created those values with you and they see that what they've put together with you and worked on with you come to life as the company values, they'll be bought into that. Got some more homework for you between now and the next time we see each other.
No, we love homework.
Awesome. This one's not too hard. So think about your ideal scenario for the vision. So think about what your vision is for the business, where you want to see it go, and what the plan would be without names, really just identify the roles. You don't even have to say CEO or operations manager, but give us an idea of what that role might look like. And then we'll bring that back together and we can map that back to your plan to make sure that you're actually working in alignment with that. But the people side of things is what's going to help you take your organisation up to the next level.
Sam, some great advice from Matt there on succession planning, and it's a topic we as founders sort of ignore or put on the back burner, don't we?
Yeah, it's so easy, especially in those early stages, to get caught up in your business and you're doing so many things as a founder. But you do realise after a while that if you want to grow your business, scale it and bring in more people and actually take some time off so you don't burn out, you have to look at succession planning and plan for the future for your business, not to just solely rely about you.
Absolutely. Great advice. Thank you so much for joining us on the show today. It's been fantastic.
Thanks for having me, Kochie.
And remember, if you're looking for small business tips or the latest news and expert advice, then you can find them online at kochiesbusinessbuilders.com.au or follow Kochie's Biz on Facebook, LinkedIn, Insta and Twitter. See you same time next week. Next week on Kochie's Business Builders, Carrie Kwan, co-founder of Mums & Co, joins me in the studio. Jane Kay checks in with LV Jules. Plus, we meet a physio helping patients live life without limits.